What is going on, everyone? Luca Rosano here, back with another video. Hope you're all doing well. What a crazy NBA trade deadline, which dated back to last Friday. We got so many big moves, and then the biggest of them all was, of course, today. I did a live stream reaction with some friends over at the Parlay as we live reacted to the deal that went down between the Nets and the Sixers. I can't believe a James Harden for Ben Simmons trade actually happened. And then, of course, before that, we learned that the Raptors would finally, emphasize finally, be parting ways with Goran Dragic. And this trade has a lot of mixed reactions. Before we get to my raw reaction of this deal, let's get into the specifics of what went down. So, it was announced by Shams that the Raptors are sending guard Goran Dragic, Toronto's 2022 first rounder, which is protected 1 through 14, protected 1 through 13 in 2023, turning into future seconds, for Thaddeus Young, Drew Eubanks, and a 2022 Pistons second rounder. Then Woj announced that the Raptors are waiving Eubanks. As for Dragic, the Spurs are expected to buy him out for the remainder of his contract, after which he will likely be signing with the Dallas Mavericks, according to Sportsnet's Michael Grange. So my Goran Dragic to Dallas Mavericks prediction looks like it's coming true after all. Now, according to Blake Murphy of Sportsnet, the math here will also allow the Raptors to create a modest trade exception that could be useful in the offseason as an overcapped team. Also, the Raptors now have an open roster spot to add a bio candidate now after waiving Eubanks. And this can be a G League call-up like a DJ Wilson. I know many Raptors fans would love to see him back. Or it could be giving someone a shot with a 10-day contract. So who are the Raptors exactly getting in Thaddeus Young? He's been in the league for a while, and personally, I've always been a fan of his game. They're acquiring a veteran forward whose box score stats, they're not going to pop. I mean, he's been very limited this season, averaging 6.1 points, 3.6 rebounds, and 2.3 assists in just over 14 minutes per game across 26 appearances, but he is widely regarded as an impactful presence in the locker room. He has proven to be an effective defender and a capable playmaker throughout his career, so that is going to add a lot to this Raptors team from off the bench. His 24% assist percentage this campaign ranks in the 97th percentile among big men, according to Cleaning the Glass. So they are actually getting a playmaker here in Young. And he will be an upgrade on paper over backups such as Yuta Watanabe and Svi Mykhailiuk. Now, I know a lot of fans don't like this trade, and they have been very vocal about this trade, but the Raptors are getting a serviceable player in exchange for a player who was going to be bought out anyway. Let's be real. A Goran Dragic trade was better than no Goran Dragic trade. And beyond Young, the Raptors are getting a second-round pick, which figures to be near the top of the second round, given the Pistons' current place at the bottom of the league standing. So don't sleep on that pick. That can turn into something. I think where fans are disappointed is they expected more. And that's where rumors have to be blamed, because we had so many big names, bigger names thrown the Raptors' way, such as Nurkic, such as Miles Turner. And the fact that the Raptors weren't able to get any one of those bigger deals done, I can see why fans are not satisfied by this. But at the same time, you got to think there probably wasn't a whole ton of interest for Goran Dragic anyway, especially since the dude had not played all season. So the Raptors, to me, just wanted to capitalize on a return for him, as they did. The Raptors clearly did not want to part ways with their core, and outside of their core, there probably wasn't any demand for any other player outside of that. So overall, I'm okay with this move. I understand this doesn't move the needle, but you got to trust Masai Ujiri. The guy knows what he's doing, and he's got a great track record to prove that. And my expectations weren't very crazy as maybe some other fans' expectations. I knew coming in the likelihood of the Raptors pulling off a Miles Turner trade were slim to none. And I knew very well the Raptors weren't going to make a big splash like we just saw the Nets or the Sixers make. I knew if the Raptors were going to part ways with Dragic, it would have in all likelihood been a player like this. And it's funny how it is Thad Young, because this is literally a name that no rumors, no reports even talked about. So this literally came out of left field. And just trust the continued progression and development of this team. The Raptors weren't going to fix what ain't broke right now. This team has won 7 games in a row, and they obviously felt that a drastic change was not needed. So the Raptors are going to go with this team. They're going to go with this core. And we already knew they were going to stay put with this core. It was said that the Raptors weren't going to make a big time move. So you shouldn't be too surprised at that. And what I'll also say is this: keep an eye on what the Raptors do with that open roster spot, because that could bring in some value. And a name like DJ Wilson sounds very, very appealing. Now, when you look at this in the grand scheme of things, the Raptors are still going to have issues from off the bench in terms of scoring the basketball and having a secondary playmaker to back up Fred VanVleet. I know Thad Young can be a very good playmaker, but scoring the basketball from off the bench and having a guy to assist Fred when he needs to get rest, that could still be an issue. Obviously, Malachi Flynn hasn't been getting a ton of minutes. You hope that Delano Banton can fill in that void and continue to develop his game to a whole nother level. This is just one of those things that tells me that the Raptors wanted to capitalize on something for Dragic, and this is a move that helps the Raptors second unit a bit and does give them another player to play a part of this rotation. So we'll see what happens with that open roster spot. Again, keep an eye on what happens with that. That is my opinion. I know it's easy to say, oh, the Raptors should have made other moves, because you look at what Brooklyn and the Sixers have done to just bolster their teams. But we'll see what this team can do in the second half of the season. They've hit a high. They're playing extremely well. Keep it as is. And we'll see how this team fares on their way to hopefully making the playoffs and making some noise in the playoffs. So what's your reaction to this? Do you like the move? Do you not like the move? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I will read your comments. Also, drop a like on the video. Please subscribe to the channel if you are new. Plus, ring the bell. Let's hit 26.1K and beyond, and we will see how the Raptors play this thing out. But NBA trade deadline, I mean, it's in the books, and this was a crazy roller coaster. But at least we can say one thing at the end of all this. Good riddance, Goran Dragic. I feel pretty confident in saying that absolutely no one in Toronto is going to miss this guy. He easily has the most forgettable tenure in Toronto Raptors history. So the fact that the Raptors were able to get rid of Dragic and got something back in return, that's got to be a win. That's got to be a win in many people's books. So we'll see what happens from this point on. As always, thank you so much for watching. This is Luca Rosano signing off. Take care, and I'll catch you all again in the next video.